Hey, what's up? This is TJP, and you're listening to the 3 Count Podcast.
That she raised one icon. All of your hate won't change none. Who you think you are?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy, it's your nephew, it's your cousin, it's the icon, the Don Chaz Evans, and I'm here with the 3 Count Podcast SummerSlam Super Pod. Let's go down the roster. Introducing first, he is my tag team partner. He's the man that runs this show because I don't do shit, I don't run shit, I just talk shit. He is the landlord of the Dog Pound. He is the Red Dog, Cliff Miller.
Oh, yeah. Andino Heat catchphrase. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Just make sure you go to What a Maneuver and look up Andino and get your new T-shirt.
Awesome. And introducing next, he is the 47-time coronavirus surviving, racist killing, African-American Negro spiritual, world heavyweight universal, mighty morphin Power Ranger, national heavyweight United States world heavyweight African diaspora world champion. He is the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Idol.
Always happy to be here.
And introducing next, he is the Dark Lord himself. He is the evil genius. He is the one that apparently Jesus owes money to. Ladies and gentlemen, the supervillain himself, Damien Fatal.
I want my fucking money. Jesus better fucking pay up. It's Sunday. I know he gets offerings and everything. I want my fucking money. Don't
go to church.
I'll find you.
We can totally tell you have no idea how any of that works. Introducing next, he is the superstar. He is Showtime. He is the man that deserves an Oscar, a Grammy, an Emmy, a Tony, a Daytime Emmy Award, a Primetime Emmy Award. Man, he deserves a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award and a goddamn BET Award. Ladies and gentlemen, Showtime, Jeremy Grimes.
And one half of the greatest tag team on the East Coast, definitely not Black Magic, and we saw that last night. Next.
That's fired, bro. Jesus.
Right. And introducing next, he is Clifford Miller's best friend. He's the newest employee here at the slave factory called the 3 Count Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my boy, Anthony.
What up, fuckers?
This is how we get
That's all I got.
Anyway, we got to work on that one, though. And introducing last, but certainly not the least, the only reason he's on this show is because he's my little brother. Ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't watch any type of wrestling except for SmackDown. And, and he watches Wrestle Talk and What Culture. So, ladies and gentlemen, you may know him on here as the Napster. You may know him as Josh or Joshua, or you may know him as JJ, but now he only goes by his given name, and that is Q.
First off, I want to say one thing. How dare you make me go last? I am one of the OGs, first and foremost. Now, with that out the way, I like to think the sidewalks keep me up the street. Dangerous times going on. Make sure you're locked and loaded because there's a Revolutionary War Part 2 going on. So, chitty chitty bang, everything. And that's all for me.
All righty then. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's like I said, this is the 3 Count SummerSlam Super Pod. We have guests here on the show, but before I introduce them, let me get through some announcements. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not listened to the latest episode of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring, featuring the man, G Postal, you need to stop this episode right now. go back into your episode list, go listen to that one, and then come back to this one. I promise you, you don't want to miss that interview. Also, if you want to support the 3 Count Podcast, and, well, monetarily that is, because if you're listening to us, that means you're supporting us. But monetarily, go get yourself a 3 Count Podcast t-shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/the 3 Count Pod, and that's the number 3. Go get yourself a 3 Count Podcast t-shirt. Let's introduce our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, making her return here on the 3 Count Podcast, it's my sister. It's Mrs. Idol, Jamilla Scott, on the show. She's the production assistant of F1ght Club Pro Wrestling, who just had their show last night as of this recording. Give it up for Jamilla Scott.
I just want to say, F1ght Club is where it's at. Summer Jam was lit, and if you don't like us, screw you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And last but not least, we got Brian H. Waters from the Wrestling Realm here in the 3 Count War Room, making his 3 Count Podcast debut. What's going on, man?
What's up? Happy to be on here. It's always a pleasure when you get a chance to talk some good old wrestling, something I've been watching since the womb. That's a long story. My mother can explain it better.
Oh, man, we're happy to have you on. So happy to have you on. So let's get right down to business, ladies and gentlemen. This is a super pod, which means you know this is going to be a hella long show. So let's get right down to business with the Wednesday Night War Rundown. All righty. So this past Wednesday night, AEW and NXT went at it again, as they do every Wednesday night. And I here have the viewership numbers. So let's start with NXT. NXT came in with a 619,000 total viewers, while AEW, as we've seen time and time again, have defeated NXT in the ratings with a 792,000 total viewership. So if you're keeping score like we are, it's a lot to a little bit. So that is your Wednesday Night War Rundown. So before we move on, let's go through the list. Who did you think had the better show overall? Cliff, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I like the AEW show, but main event wise, I think NXT had a better main event match. But we'll talk about it because of the surprises that came out. But yeah, I did like Dynamite better overall.
Anthony?
Dynamite, hands down.
Brian?
It was a toss-up, to be honest with you. But I guess I'll give it to Dynamite.
The Idols.
It'd be impossible for me to like Dynamite.
Me personally, I like NXT. I think NXT is putting on the better matches in terms of like things you want to see, and Dynamite I think is putting out. I mean, I think they're both putting out good matches, but I think more people are watching Dynamite because they're curious. So
I'd rather hang myself.
Stop it.
Damien, what you got?
I'm just going to say NXT.
Jeremy?
Being a big Chris Jericho fan, how dare you not know how to take a mousetrap pin? So I'm going NXT.
And JJ?
AEW was boring.
All righty then. I gotta go with NXT for once. I actually enjoyed NXT more than I enjoyed AEW this week, possibly because I still didn't get my Young Bucks versus the Revival, and that was a perfect time to do it. But hey, it's always all out. So, all right, moving on. Let's get down to our debate topics. So, this past Friday night on SmackDown, which we actually talking about SmackDown a lot. This past Friday on SmackDown, we had a segment between Braun Strowman, The Fiend, and Alexa Bliss, which ultimately, not for sure yet, but it looks like we have ourselves a Fiend face turn Braun Strowman pretty much dropping Alexa, picking her up, and literally throwing her like, a piece of paper because she's like 87 pounds. But what do we think about this? The Fiend being a face? I know at one point earlier this year we had talked about the Fiend could never turn face and it would work. But with, the coronavirus and the new shows being, not so good and the declining ratings, what do we think about the Fiend being a face? So we'll go in the same order. Cliff, you'll start. Anthony, you'll follow. Brian will go after Anthony. The Idols will go. Then Damian. Then Jeremy. And then JJ. And I will hit us up at the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. I am not with it. Like, the Fiend is meant to be like a horror character. Like, he's meant to be like this, like, end all, like, super villain. No offense, Damian. But he's meant to be like the guy who keeps hitting hard and you can't kill. And to have him be a face, like, are we really pretending that this is like Freddy versus Jason kind of matchup going on here? Is that what we're getting? Like, I can't be with it because, like I said, the Fiend is meant to be a horror character. He's meant to be like that killer that you can't stop. And for some reason, we're like, hey, you know what? Fans really like him. Let's just make him a face. We'll turn Braun Strowman possibly heel. I really hope that this is a story where they're just playing with it the whole time, and like Alexa Bliss is actually just like joining in. And at the end, like, the right story gets written where Braun is like, I care about Alexa Bliss. But otherwise, I fucking hate it.
Dude, I'm right with you. 100%. You can't make the Fiend a face. He's getting up on the crowd now, but you have that dark side of him. Like, he's not gonna have shining lights. He's not a face. And I'm with Cliff when I say that hopefully something happens in the end where Alexa Bliss and Braun go off their little bit of ways being faces. But I also want to see maybe Alexa Bliss turn heel and help the Fiend. But the Fiend cannot be a face.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not buying into it though. I'm gonna sit back and see how this plays out. I'm not riding into the dirt sheets or anything. I do think that maybe he will do something evil. I think it's more about Braun kind of showing he needs to do whatever it takes to beat the Fiend. So it's more about that as opposed to the Fiend actually being a face. That's the way I'm looking at it.
I don't see why the Fiend can't be a face. I mean, if Undertaker and Kane can be faces, why can't the Fiend? The Undertaker didn't change up anything. He was still striking people with lightning, kidnapping, tombstoning whoever he wanted to, chokeslam. He still did all the evil things he did, but he was a babyface. So I don't see why the Fiend can't do the same thing. I don't have a problem with it.
I'm a little iffy about it. I think if WWE does right by the Fiend creatively, it could work. But given what happened in his first match at Hell in a Cell, WWE is kind of dropping the ball, in my opinion, in terms of like how to book him. I think it could work, but I would have to see how it plays out.
Super villain.
Well, it's kind of like a toss-up because if the fans were there, they'd probably be cheering for the Fiend anyway. So I don't know. Kind of weird. I haven't heard there. So I'm kind of waiting to see how it plays out. They're gonna drop the ball or not, we'll find out. But it bother me.
Jeremy?
I agree with the Idols. If Undertaker and Kane can be face, why can't the Fiend? I mean, he's over. The fans love him. No matter if he's a horror gimmick or not, that's basically what the Undertaker was. So, I mean, you can't really tell anybody they can be face or heel. He can be whatever he wants to be. And if creative works out, which it won't because the old man doesn't know what he's doing, go ahead. I don't care. It'll work out. But they'll drop the ball just like they do with every other good storyline, and we'll be back here talking shit on it next week.
Well,
JJ?
All right. This, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Braun brought up an excellent point that people that fight the Fiend, they typically change. We've seen Rollins turn into a heel. We saw Daniel Bryan go back to being the yes man. And now we're seeing Braun go back to being the black sheep, I guess, sort of. But the black sheep really didn't have a character, but that's beyond the point. So am I intrigued? A little. Will they mess it up? More than likely. Because like Jeremy said, the old man doesn't know what he's doing. He's so out of touch. So am I excited? Yes. But I'm not too excited because I already know the old man's going to ruin it. Like he always does.
Yep.
Okay, so here's my take on this, and I gotta agree. I gotta low key agree with honestly everybody, which is funny. I see the point where we're making that the fact that why can't the Fiend be a face? Because the Undertaker, Kane, they were pretty much doing the same thing. They were technically horror characters, and now look at them. They're every time you see them, they get this huge pop when they show up. Now, I gotta agree with JJ on the fact that Braun had a point. Every person that the Fiend has encountered, they have somewhat changed, and we all talked about this when we talked about the horse show that was Extreme Rules, and when Braun got put into the lake, we were saying that, hey, Braun's has to make a change somehow, some way, because that's what happens. So I'm here for the story. I'm here to see where they go with this because I like the added element of having Alexa Bliss in there. So, and like you said, Cliff, maybe at the end of all this, we get another switcheroo and they go right back to, the Fiend being a heel, Braun being a face. And it's just, I'm here for the story. I'm actually, for once, intrigued by a storyline going on WWE that isn't, AJ Styles. So I'm here for it. I don't have a problem with it. Was it hard to believe at first? Yeah. But when I looked at it and I actually thought about it, I'm like, this makes sense to me. So I'm for it. I think the Fiend being a face could work, in just for this specific instance. So yeah, we're gonna move on.
Hold on.
Oh no, you got something else? Okay, let's go.
We're sitting here talking about the Fiend like working as, and maybe he could work as a face because you did make a good point about Taker and Kane working out. But something else that was mentioned that every person that the Fiend has encountered with has changed. Well, Braun was already encountered with once last year, and he stayed the same character the whole time. Like, if we don't remember, like he had that run-in with Rollins was there, and he ran in. He attacked Braun, and he took Braun down twice. So why didn't Braun change? Period.
He didn't go into the lake. That's why the lake was the symbolism.
The Miz never went into the lake. The Miz never got beaten in a match by the Fiend, but he changed.
Well, he also wasn't the subject. Remember, Rollins was the person he was coming after because Rollins had the championship. He should have changed. I think you bring up a good point. He should have changed because he ultimately cost Braun his briefcase, if I'm not mistaken. So he should have changed. But one of the things I do look at with, I understand Undertaker and Kane comparisons. The thing with Undertaker at the time, he was at the end of the day, the Undertaker and Paul Bearer were funeral director and whatever, and the Undertaker literally. So you can make a Undertaker because people die every day. So you can make that into a face, and then he made it cool to be a creature of the night. Kane was somebody who was, and I'm not trying to be rude and disrespectful, they made you believe Kane was mentally delayed. He kept obviously attitude error, you could use the R word, you shouldn't, but they kept saying that. So Kane was somebody who was kind of being taken advantage of. You look at, he was being dragged around with Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer had him doing everything he wanted to do. Then all of a sudden, the Undertaker was able to lure him in and allow him to finally have that relationship, that brother-brother relationship, until Vince McMahon put them against each other. So now Kane is kind of lost, and then, Vince McMahon turned to corporate, and then they turned on him when China turned his back on him. So then X-Pac, because you sympathize, because where they made Kane was he was somebody who couldn't think for himself. What makes it weird with The Fiend being a face is he's somebody who can think for himself. He's a leader, and he's out to really, it seems like, destroy the WWE. But I do see that Bray Wyatt can be a face, and if there's anything, you can make where Bray Wyatt is the baby face and the Fiend is the heel, and then you tease a Bray Wyatt versus Fiend match.
I can agree with that. But I just don't think that, like, to be real though, I just don't think that the Fiend is not a character that you should make face. Like,
I agree.
As much as he gets over with the crowd, right? He should always be a heel. Like, it just should be one of those things. Like, even if you look at it realistically, like Taker and Kane, they were always heels. Like, even as much as we loved them and they were quote unquote baby.
I agree, Cliff. The
They were
Undertaker was kidnapping niggas.
They
But
were.
you also had.
Let's not forget that
Sacrificing them.
Undertaker almost crucified Stephanie McMahon, and we were like, "Yo, he's the best person ever." Like, he was a heel. We just liked him. We tolerated him. Like, that's.
Well, he was a tweener at that point in time when you really think about it, the Ministry of Darkness, because like you said, he came out and sacrificed Viscera. Well, he was, he made him Viscera at the Royal Rumble. And then, but you would go back to, you had such strong baby faces in Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was white hot. Then you also had The Rock becoming a baby face later. Those guys were so dynamic. Mick Foley, before The Rock turned face, Mick Foley was a strong baby face. You don't have that in Braun Strowman. So because of that, I think, and then you surely, as much as people love Roman Reigns, because he was forced down our throats so early, Roman wouldn't be a strong babyface. I think AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan could be those strong babyfaces, and obviously John Cena, who could make sure that you could keep the Fiend heel. Even if people are cheering him, you can still keep him heel because, like you said, that's what was going on with The Undertaker. He had his cult-like following.
So maybe if we look at it as not necessarily, we should look at it more as less that, hey, the WWE has a baby face problem. They don't have strong baby faces. So I can agree with I can agree
blame
with
Bruce
that,
Pritchard. He's terrible at his job. Go back to podcasting.
Bruce Pritchard.
Wow.
I'm still saying that you gotta blame Vince McMahon because everything still goes through him.
Well, that's the problem, though, because Bruce won't stand up to Vince, and I'm not one to always say Vince McMahon is out of touch. I do think creatively sometimes, but from the business side of professional wrestling, he's always ahead. But he do need to relinquish some things. However, we have to remember Stone Cold Steve Austin screwed Vince McMahon. Let's call it for what it is. Because Stone Cold screwed him, he's always reluctant to put all his eggs in one basket. Even when you look at with John Cena. Cena loved the company so much, so he wouldn't do it. But Cena was trying to get some people over.
Yeah. And it's crazy to see, like, even someone now like Daniel Bryan who wants to work with people like Drew Gulak. The crowd is actually cheering for people like Ricochet and like, Mustafa Ali. And we're not even getting those pushes. Like, we get them for like 3 weeks and they fade out because Vince McMahon gets bored with them. And we can't make good, strong baby faces if we just keep like tossing those guys to the side. Like, the crowd gets behind them, they cheer them, and then we just like, it's cool.
I think Mustafa Ali's a better babyface than Ricochet. I'm just saying.
Oh, absolutely.
I can agree with that.
I can take. Yep.
That's because Ricochet doesn't have a character. Like,
bingo.
Flip.
Dull as a doorknob.
Exactly. The only thing he can do is flip and not die. That's it. The end.
No,
That
and he
is
can
Ricochet.
smile.
Ricochet
He can smile pretty well too.
But it's entertaining.
That's true. He is
That
entertaining.
doesn't sell
but
to
like, think
advertisers,
about
though.
it, he doesn't have a character.
Everyone can flip.
Put him in the ring and give him a mic, and I bet you the crowd will go silent. He can't talk.
Cliff cannot flip. He can't even do 3/4 rolls.
Yo, I'm gonna bring that up.
I love you, Cliff.
You ain't have to put Clip out there like that, Anthony.
God,
Dang.
yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
Like, we
if I'm
talked
being
about that all last
honest, Paul didn't
week.
have a
Man. Okay,
character
they can
for the
go
longest.
back to a previous episode and find out how I got injured and I couldn't make my debut. Okay. Jesus.
Wow.
How did you get? How did you get injured?
I'm gonna use that as a segue to move on to the next one, next topic. So back to talking about SmackDown this past week. So for those that didn't catch it, but SmackDown was not PG. this week, as far as the ratings concerned. SmackDown had a TV 14 rating, which is the first time in God knows how long. So, is this a sign of relief? So, like we know, SmackDown, Raw, pretty much everything that's not NXT, ratings have been declining pretty much since the pandemic, since they've gone into to the Performance Center. Actually, honestly, I think ratings were declining even before then. But so TV 14 now is a thing in SmackDown. So is this a sigh of relief? Is this the company moving into a new direction? What do we think about TV 14? Will this save Raw and SmackDown? Go ahead, Cliff.
That's what I think. It was so hardcore when Retribution came out and did like their bad thing. Ooh. It was so hardcore that, Braun Strowman threw Alexa Bliss. Ooh, that's what made this TV 14. Oh, yeah. It was so hard. It was still a PG disguised as a TV 14. So I don't give two fucks. It is what it is. Let's just keep it 100. When next week, maybe they might drop an S-bomb. Ooh, and then we'll just be all excited about what they're doing. I don't know, man. Like, there's got to be a little bit more stuff. There's got to be more substance to what they're trying to push out, other than the fact they're saying, hey, guys, check it out. We're TV 14 now, even though we didn't do a single thing that would have been deemed controversial for the show. So, meh. Move that shit along.
I'm with Cliff. And like, there's no blood. There's no middle fingers going on in there. There's no cuss words. It's garbage. Sorry, I don't rated G. I wouldn't
go that far.
Rated G. Wait a minute, this isn't Trolls.
Close enough right now. Like, I'm over it. I saw that earlier, and I'm just over it, because bring back blood. Then bring back what we had in the Attitude Era at that point. Is that what you're gonna do, or are you gonna flush this down the toilet and it's not gonna do nothing?
Right.
Well, so if I could flex real quick using my television production degree, you have to understand that when you're talking ratings, it's a thin line. So because you had the segment with Alexa Bliss and Braun, you have to throw that PG rating on there, because you do have that physical interaction with a man and a woman. That's the reason why you didn't see it too much, even with Randy Orton and I'm about to say Nyla Rose, Nia Jax. It happened at the Royal Rumble, and I do think when I look back at it, I don't know if it's necessarily a sigh. Maybe it is a sigh of relief. I personally think SmackDown has been the best show for the past couple of weeks, and I think that with everything going on, you could have those TV 14 things. People would love to see, 14-year-old males would love to see Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville kind of mix it up a little bit more, if you know what I mean. And I'm trying to say it in a respectful way, obviously with, the women. But I think you will start to see some things a little bit more edgy. But when it comes to this Retribution stuff, it's really annoying. And personally, I saw something online and I thought about it. Maybe this is the only thing that I would like, and I'm not the biggest fan of this guy. Don't hate him, but I'm just not one of his cult following, is if that CM Punk is behind the whole thing, then I would be happy. But other than that, I'm just like, eh. But other than that, I don't think it's it may be, I think at the end of the day, with a TV 14 rating, you do have to have somebody who can pull it off. And when I look at the SmackDown roster right now, I do think you have people such as The Fiend, such as an aggressive Braun Strowman. I think AJ Styles can't do anything wrong. Same with Daniel Bryan. I think they're the two best. So I do think you have those people. And then obviously there's The Miz and Morrison. And then I want to see how far Big E is going to go. So I think it'll be cool to see moving forward.
If CM Punk actually is in control of Retribution, that'd probably be the only reason as well I will like Retribution. Other than that, they can go, Retribute out of, the Performance Center.
You're going to be mad with this Hornswoggle.
Yo. Put that out there, man.
Oh, God.
Real mad.
Well, all right. So TV 14 now compared to TV 14 back then is different because everybody's so fucking sensitive. So you shouldn't expect too much. Period. I agree with the interaction between Braun and Alexa. That made sense why they did it. It's just because everybody's so fucking goddamn sensitive and all up in their fucking twats about everything. So, yeah.
All right, the idols.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I don't care about the rating of the show. I didn't even notice that it said TV 14, and then once I saw, I was like, okay. I don't care. Like, the rating of the show doesn't dictate how good the show is going to be. It's not because it's TV 14 suddenly it's going to be like, oh my God, this is great. Like, no, you could have a great PG show. You can have a great TV 14 show. You can have a terrible PG show. You can have a terrible TV 14 show. The rating doesn't matter. That just determines how much edge you can put on your show. That's it. Yeah.
I have to agree, but my thing is, if they're gonna change the rating, can they give us like some edge of your product? Like, I understand they can't do the exact same things they did in the 90s because, you know, of course, people are more sensitive and more aware in terms of like what they're watching on TV. But if y'all gonna change the ratings, like, can we bring back something from the Attitude Era that makes it like entertaining and still worth watching, and not the same old? Oh, we're gonna give you a little sprinkle of something here, a little sprinkle there. Like, at least make it entertaining to watch if you're gonna change the rating.
Yeah, like bring a little blood back.
Yeah, like you know, some color. Like, give us a little something. You know, stop teasing it and just do it.
See people bleeding all over.
People are not more aware of what they're watching. They're more of like a bunch of bitches. Just call it what it is.
Anyway, Jeremy, your turn.
I mean, I think they're bringing back something from the 90s. Either Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville. There's only 3 things that you should watch on SmackDown. That's AJ Styles, Biggie, and The Miz. Other than that, I care less about a rating. It's still garbage. The old man doesn't know what he's doing, still, to my point. Bruce Pritchard's just a yes man, so he's going to say yes to whatever. Yeah, SmackDown sucks. So does Raw. Raw Underground sucks, too, while we're shooting.
The most entertaining thing about Raw Underground was basically watching Shayna Baszler do what she used to do in MMA. That was it.
Precisely.
Hey, Morgan wants to see the ladies back.
I know she does. Liv Morgan wants the strippers to come back. She liked that.
I bet she did. Her nasty self.
I would love it too.
She did like the strippers.
She can be part of it too.
They were dancers.
Dancers, strippers, entertainers, whatever you want to call them, they were still taking clothes off.
Look like a damn Ludacris music video.
I think somebody said put men in Speedos up there. So fellas, y'all can audition.
Yeah, you know.
No. Ain't nobody want to see a fat man do that.
Hey, you know what? Hey, no. Hey, first of all, if Otis was that person, I'm paying to watch. I don't give a shit. Just see Otis like,
Oh yeah. I gotta have that confidence.
Yo, Otis is that dude. Could you imagine? No, like seriously, like imagine like Genuine, like playing a background. You have Otis like.
That's Mandy Rose.
Get out.
Yo.
He's sitting there doing that with Mandy Rose right now.
Right.
They're gonna work themselves into a shoot. I'm all for it.
All right, go ahead, Q.
I would watch it.
What you got for me, Q?
You said what?
I said, what you got for me? What's your take on the TV 14 rating on SmackDown?
Tick tock, tick tock. Vince is losing his mind. Okay? He's losing
You keep saying that. He lost his mind in like 1989. It hasn't been there since then.
This is my point. Mine, okay?
Oh, spicy.
Simple. All right? So, the ratings are going down the toilet, as we all know. Flushed away. like they should be going because of how terrible the product has been. As Idol said, ratings won't change really the quality. All this just change the edginess and how much you can get away with being edgy. Vince sees that his product is going down the drain. And you know it's coming up very soon. Dear God, help Vince McMahon when Monday Night Football comes back. Dear God, help him.
What?
Help him. It's going to get way worse. And apparently there's been talks that, the NFL might push games to Friday. Oh, dear God, help him even more. This is only going to get worse and worse and worse. It's not going to change anything at all. Because the ratings are still going to become trash and still be trash as long as Vincent Kennedy McMahon is still running the show and Bruce Pritchard is sitting there saying, yes, Poppy.
Yeah.
You saying Poppy, though?
Are you out here, like, quoting Eddie Guerrero? Is that what you're doing now?
Poppy.
Wow. Jeez. I think, ultimately, here's, like, my problem, right, is that even if we get, like, all the hardcore stuff, not hardcore stuff, but, like, rougher stuff to come back, you have this whole idea that Retribution is going to, like, flicker the lights, like, anytime something, like, dramatic happens. Like, let's look back at Raw, right? Randy Orton went to go punt Ric Flair, and instead of, like, showing him, like,
garbage,
they just turned the lights off and they turned back on, and then there's Ric Flair laying on the ground, and Randy's like, oh, I did it. Like, did you, though? It's kind of like Bliss's thing, too, like the light go out, and then also you saw Bliss, like, get thrown. Did she really get thrown? I don't know. Lights turned on. I didn't really pay attention anymore. And then, like, he teleported back to the screen, like, and he was just, I don't know. I just felt like you could do more, and I can't agree with Anthony saying that we need more blood. I was like, color should only be asked for when it's necessary, not like every show needs to have blood, because then eventually we're all going to be like, well, Matt Hardy did it twice, or AEW did it twice on their show, and we saw what happened the first time. Let's be real, the thing that happened with Matt Hardy, was the total botch. It is what it is. But I was like,
Sammy Guevara's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna voice my opinion on that just yet. But I'm just gonna say that it took away from the effect, right? Because we saw there was color earlier, and then also we saw Matt, and we're kind of like, well, Matt's bleeding the hard way. We're not really into that. So only when it's like really called for, it should be necessary. But I think I want to see like edgier moves, like edgier like storylines. But Vince has to like sell. You have to sell the story to Vince to get those edgier storylines. And unfortunately, Bruce Pritchard is always that guy that's like, hey, let's push the safe story to Vince instead of the one that really could work and get the crowd behind us. So, unfortunately, that's the way.
I don't know, Cliff, I'm going to disagree with you because seeing that sack of potatoes take that chair shot the hard way from Shawn Spears made me very happy. So, I mean, it is what it is.
So, I guess, so here's the thing. So the TV 14 rating, I gotta agree. It doesn't really matter whether or not if you have a TV 14 rating or if you have a PG rating. It doesn't matter how good the show is going to be, point blank. Because we've seen Raw, we've seen SmackDown have completely amazing shows under the TV, the PG rating. So having the ratings change doesn't make it, whether or not determine whether it's a good or a bad show. Now, if we're going to use TV 14 as, going forward, let's, I agree we should probably sprinkle some things on it. Because, we know we can't get, blood every week. We know we're not going to get a lot of things from the Attitude Era, like bra and panties matches and bikini contests. That's not the company WWE is right now. They have too many sponsors and too many advertisers, to throw that all away just so we can see some tits and ass. Like, let's really look at this from a business standpoint. TV 14 and can we get some edgier stuff? Yes, by all means. Yes, let's get some edgier things. Like, for example, the Braun throwing Alexa, the man and woman interaction. Let's get that. Cool. But if we're looking at the TV, if we're thinking that this TV 14 rating is going to be, yes, the resurgence of the Attitude Era, then by all means, you need to just watch AEW and call it a day, because that's not what this is. I can tell you that now. And that's not what we're going to get. We're not going to get blood and guts. We're not going to get, bra and panties matches. We're not getting the Attitude Era again. The Attitude Era is over. All right? I think a lot of internet wrestling community people really want this Attitude Era back just because it was so out there and it was very successful. Yes, it was very successful for that time, and that was then. This is now. WWE has too many sponsors. Too many. Fox, first of all, is not going to let that happen on their show. Let's keep it a $1.50.
Fox had a show called The X-Files where we watch people get probed. Let's not play.
But okay, but still, WWE has
go that far.
But they still have other sponsors, though.
Fox has a show called Family Guy. Now, I don't know if you know there's not. Put out product that openly disrespects people. Clear. To be fair,
Family Guy disrespects Jesus.
Shut up. This is not your point, JJ. Sit down.
I thought Family Guy was on TBS or something like that now.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you look back at the history of like what Fox has put on air, like low key, a little. I'm not saying a live sex celebration. A little skit or a little thing is not, as long as like other people are cool with it, is not gonna hurt WWE. It's not gonna hurt Fox. Let's be real, okay? Fox.
Well, yeah, it's not gonna hurt Fox, but I'm looking. If we're looking at the bigger picture, if we go specifically at Fox, no. But look at their other though, all the other sponsors they have. You think they're gonna let? Do you think they're gonna allow a show like that? Allow tits and ass on their show?
You think Snickers is really gonna pull? They're gonna pull their brand from WWE. Like, you think Snickers will be like, hey, you know what? Like, you guys had a bikini contest. We're gonna take this off. Like, and I'm not advocating for that. That's not something I think should be a thing, honestly, because that was like you said back in the '90s. I'm just saying, like, if like two women get into a fight, right, on SmackDown, and one of them gets their shirt torn, right? You think Snickers Mars is gonna be like, we need to pull all of our Snickers ads from there?
No, because Retribution's going to flicker the light.
They might, so why risk it?
Right, exactly. They might.
You don't know that they won't. So why risk it?
But see, it's also I remember too, like back in the Attitude Era, Vince started dialing down in 99, 2000 because he was going public, and quite frankly, the product was so good because everybody had a story, and that's what it all like. When you go back, I've been watching. I always watch SummerSlams during this time of year, and I'm gonna go back and watch SummerSlam '98. But before I went there, I was like, I got to watch these Monday Night Raws because the Raws leading up to SummerSlam were great. First of all, the card was already booked by the end of Fully Loaded, pretty much the full card. And what it is they were edgy, but everybody had a story. So even when you went into 99, 2000, 2001, when Vince Russo was gone, by everybody having a story that you were attached to, it was something for everybody. That's the thing that's missing. There's not something for everybody to make everybody want to watch wrestling, to make that male 18 to 35 demographic want to watch wrestling. And when everybody doesn't have a story, it's harder because you can't go back to the cheap stuff, because when you have to talk to stockholders and people who are invested in the company, it's a different ball game as opposed to back then. He didn't have to address those people. So the sponsors were there, but because Snickers sponsored Eminem sponsored WrestleMania 15. Snickers sponsored Halloween Havoc, the one that went out. The lights went out. The pay-per-view went out with Goldberg and DDP. The sponsors are going to be there, but when you got stockholders, it's a whole different ball game.
I can agree to that.
Right, which is why I say that I don't think the TV 14 rating is the be all end all. That it's it's the magic bullet that's going to fix the shows. I don't like it's yay, we get a little edgier product, especially for all of us. We're over the age of of 18. So, or well, one of us is 18, but we're all 18 and over. So, of course, we like some edgier product. We don't like, the cookie cutter Disney, happy-go-lucky sing-along bull crap. But TV-14, cool, yay. But I don't think it's not the magic bullet. It's not going to fix the show. Like Brian said.
Yeah, AEW's over 14, and they, TV 14, and they don't have 1 million viewers on a consistent
exactly,
basis.
And that's I was just about to say that. AEW has TV 14 every week, and we still talk, how sometimes their show is crap. So
sometimes.
So what you're saying is this TV 14 thing that WWE is trying to do? They're just trying to pull in viewers because it's boring.
Yeah, I mean. Yes, we're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
It's boring. It's not going to change.
Well, exactly. I honestly do believe, though, like Brian said, because the TV 14, you have to put it out there. But I feel like, the thing is this. People, the IWC is going to look at it like, oh, it's TV 14. That'll create buzz. And maybe people will watch Monday Night Raw the week before SummerSlam. People will watch SmackDown before the week before, SummerSlam, just to create the buzz. Is this TV 14 rating going to stay? Absolutely not. I don't believe so. I don't believe that at one bit. I honestly believe SmackDown and Raw next week will be PG again.
And my problem though is that with WWE, they think now like TV 14 is going to draw interest, right? And it may draw like some eyes to the product, but like Brian said, man, like when you watched the shows leading up to the pay-per-views, you were invested in the characters. And the problem with WWE is that WWE says no person is bigger than the brand, when that's not true. Like when you see people like The Rock and Austin and Taker and Kane, like we talk about those guys, they're all larger than what WWE was, right? We talk about there's all these future stars that are coming along, like, and I know we've talked about this, but like Becky, we've seen it with Charlotte, like they're getting bigger. And like, if you push those people to the max, you're going to see people get back into the company because you're getting storylines written for all of the characters on your show. We love TV shows because we invest in characters. We love the character show. We don't care about like, let's be real, How to Get Away with Murder, right? We all love Viola Davis. We loved Annalise, like her character. We got drawn to her. And then we found other characters that we like. You can use it for anything. You can Power Rangers, right? Like we all had a favorite Power Ranger because we were interested in those characters. Like, and that's the problem with like what Vince is looking at is he's like, well, no one's bigger than WWE. They'll cheer for who I want them to cheer for when we all have a different person that we like to cheer for. So we want to see those guys get their stories.
So before we move on, I just have this one question I want to ask everybody here because I saw this actually not too long ago, probably a couple hours ago, about WWE not having, those talents, like you said, Cliff, that are, bigger than WWE. The last big name we, was John Cena. Do we see anybody in WWE right now that can get to that big name that like a John Cena, an Austin, or Rock right now in the company? And if there is, tell me who. So go ahead, Cliff.
Well, I mean, okay, so can I include Randy Orton in this? Or
Yes, you can. Yes. He's still there, so he ain't leave yet.
I mean, when Orton's motivated, Orton puts down like his best work. And he has like great stories that he can like get drawn to. Otherwise, he just kind of phones a lot of stuff in. So I think I would say Orton would be one of those dudes that you could plow hits to. But if I wanted to say a future person, we kind of said it earlier before we would jump on the show. Brian, I'm sorry, I'm going to take this one from you. But Mustafa Ali is that dude.
Anthony?
Maybe AJ Styles. I mean, he's still selling. He's still doing everything that he did back before he got into WWE. Like, yes, he's old as fuck, but I would say that AJ Styles would be that guy that might be able to make it bigger.
Right.
So, it got me thinking about especially when he brought up movie stars and he brought up Viola Davis. We watched that because she was a part of it. And right now, the only person that I really see having that appeal where you're going to watch them on no matter what brand they are, what television show they are on is Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has that it factor. And like I said, us as wrestling fans, we got sick of him sooner. But when we really think about like the past few years, Roman put on some of his best work. God forbid the time he had to go through, when he was dealing with leukemia. But one thing is, and shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Idol on the show. When they both go to wrestling shows, they're both fans. But I know, like, if I take my wife to a wrestling show, she's just going because I say, hey, let's go. The person she's going to fall in love with, she see Roman Reigns. Whoa, who's that? And it just made me remember somebody else she used to like when he was on the indie, who I do think can be this guy, who can be the next biggest thing in professional wrestling, and that is Adam Cole, baby. If he just keep himself in focus, and he does it, like you brought up Randy Orton. Randy Orton is the guy. Randy Orton could have been the greatest superstar of all time had he had John Cena's work ethic, because he's better than Cena in everything. Let's be real. He just didn't have the work ethic. So I think that Adam Cole, if he has a Cena approach instead of a Randy Orton approach, Adam Cole is the guy.
I gotta agree with you. I'm just gonna put my 2 cents out there because Brian did mention Roman Reigns, and I told Idol this. I was on the phone with Idol and Cliff. I think Damon was on the phone too. I talked to everybody so much. But I had said that Roman Reigns, I had missed Roman Reigns. And I was like, I'll probably never say it again, but I said it again. But I miss Roman Reigns. And I think it's the true definition of absence make the heart grow fonder. Because with him being gone now, I think when he comes back and then when everything, comes back to whatever the new normal is and we have fans in, I promise you Roman Reigns will be probably the biggest star than he even thought he could be. And
did you miss him because it sounded like you missed him. I'm pretty sure you missed him when he had leukemia too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and I mentioned that as well. And I told Justin that as well. I said, Roman being gone is weird. Like, it's just weird. Because we got so accustomed to Roman now. And yeah, he was shoved down our throats and we were all anti-Roman, anti-machine. But Roman Reigns is not bad. Roman Reigns is not bad. Roman Reigns is, when he's not being force-fed lines, he's pretty good on the mic. Roman Reigns actually can put on solid matches. We've seen him put on good matches before. So let's not say Roman Reigns sucks. It's just that we don't like the fact that he was, shoved down our throats.
Rocky Maivia.
Roman can do it. Roman can be that next star. But I just want to mention that just because, Brian had mentioned Roman. But who's next? Idols. Whichever one of y'all want to go first.
So, as a person, if I was not a wrestling fan, in terms of like who has the best look, like Brian mentioned about his wife, if I wasn't a fan and I was going to a show, I would also immediately gravitate towards Roman Reigns because he fine as hell. Also, Mustafa too, though. But I think in terms of like next big star, the problem is, and I hate to say it, unless it's someone that Vince thinks could be their next big moneymaker, he's not going to push them, which sucks. Because then you have people who are incredibly talented on the roster that never get their face shake. Like, case in point, it shouldn't have taken Kofi 11 years before he finally got a championship shot. And it also shouldn't have taken literally Twitter and everyone being behind him for him to be like, oh, yeah, like, let's give this guy some attention now. But in terms of biggest stars, it could definitely either be Roman or Adam. Or also, I think Roderick Strong could do it too, because Roddy work hard.
All right, Chris?
Yeah, there's only 3. Randy, Drew, and Roman.
I can agree with Drew.
I'm going based on, I look at like, okay, yes, it's important that you're a really good wrestler. But when it comes to a mega star, you got to look beyond it. Like, okay, who's going to be on Good Morning America,
right,
and represent the company well? Not as well spoken. They look great. They look like somebody important. And other than those 3, I can't really picture anybody that if you see them walk in the room, you look and go, oh, who's that guy?
The airport test.
Yeah, exactly, the airport test. So that's number one, the airport test. You look at him like, oh, okay. I don't know what he does, but he looks like he's somebody. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they got to be well-spoken. Like I said, you throw them on Good Morning America. They're going to be an excellent representative of your brand, your company. That's the important thing. Number three, of course, they deliver in terms of wrestling. For me, those three right now fit that category. I think a majority of people in the WWE, personality-wise, are bland would be putting it nicely in terms of personality.
Well, then to piggyback off of your point, then also if that's the case, an argument could be made that some of the females in the women's division could also do that too. Like Charlotte for sure, I think could. Becky before she left because she's pregnant could definitely do it. So
I think there's more potential on the female side than the male side.
Bianca,
the females have personality.
If we want to take it there, then yes, I have to agree with that. That yes, Charlotte and Becky are possibly two as well. If we want to go, if we do want to do that, then yeah, I can agree with the fact on the sentiment that Charlotte and Becky can be those megastars as well, because everyone knows who Becky Lynch is almost now at this point in juncture. The whole man gimmick took her to the
over the moon.
To the moon. My sister who hadn't watched wrestling in years knows who Becky Lynch is. She saw her on a magazine I think it was on ESPN magazine or Sports Illustrated. She said, "Oh, that's Becky Lynch." So I do believe that with Becky and Charlotte, yeah, I agree with that.
Nah, I'm with Q because Q and I are like low key on the same page. Like Becky's already there. Like she's above what it is. Sasha is the next marketable person. Like after that, Charlotte is a flair, and she's got great work ethic, but when you talk about someone who can be like in the next TV show and could carry the show, you have to look at Sasha Banks.
Sasha's been carrying this stupid company for the past months.
I wish someone would carry you away.
You know what? I'll be gone anyway.
Good.
You'll get
Take Lawrence Taylor and his shitty career with you.
Stop it.
Wow.
And Sasha Banks.
Anyway, Jeremy, what you got for me?
All right, first, I'm going to need to know what Lawrence Taylor ever did to my mans. Second, JJ, I love your glasses. I don't know if Becky is that person anymore. She apologized after she was supposed to be the man. You can get your title match if you apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, that kind of ruined that for me. Bigger than the brand. Well, we've been talking about how Vince won't let anybody be bigger than the brand, so I feel like the question is like useless. But if I had to choose, it would be Randy, Drew, and AJ Styles.
And then Damian?
I'll have to go with Chris Seidel on his 3 picks. I feel like the same exact way. There's no reason to change it.
Gotcha. All righty then.
Just for question though, are we saying Drew Gulak? Because I feel like that's who we're talking about.
He's fine as hell too.
I just want there's more than one Drew. Let's be real.
It's the bigger one, the big Scottish one.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That one.
All right, so moving on down the line. So, this is the Super Slam. I can't even talk, guys. The SummerSlam Super Pod. And so, with that, well, every time we always do this. So, what is the best SummerSlam match of all time? So,
what is a SummerSlam?
I'm off the wall today. We are lit here on the Super Pod. I'm excited. So yeah, best SummerSlam match of all time. I know there's a lot, but I got mine here. I got a tie for 2. It's a tie. So with that being said, here's my 2. Okay, I have Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in their unsanctioned street fight from 2002. That's literally one of my favorite matches. Everyone knows I'm the biggest Shawn Michaels mark. That's my favorite wrestler of all time.
Brett's better.
Anyway, but you'll like this though. But here's the thing, Brian. My first though, my not my first, but my tie for that match is Bret Hart and the British Bulldog at 92 for the IC title. So I let the Bret is better comment slide for this one, just because Bret's in he's tied with Sean. So I'll let that one slide. But yeah, those are my two. Just because, I mean, Bret, like you said, you can't go wrong with Bret and the British Bulldog. You can't. You put those two any type of way, any match, they make magic. You know, those are probably the two best workers we've seen in WWE. Shawn and Triple H, as a kid growing up, when I first started watching wrestling, and that was like 05, I want to say, Shawn just gravitated to me. I love Shawn. But I just love Shawn Michaels. I love Triple H. I love DX. So those are my two top matches of all time. So Cliff, what you got?
I was going back and forth on this as well. I think for me, like I'll tell you the one that isn't gonna get picked, right? I'm gonna take the year before with Bret and Mr. Perfect. I love that match. But the match I ultimately went with, though, it was a giant spot fest. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, whatever, but Edge and Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudley Boys, TLC was on fire.
All right, Anthony, what you got?
You know, I like the 92 Bret Hart versus British Bulldog. But I'm going to go 2 years afterwards, and it was Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. That match was phenomenal, very technical. Owen Hart just beat Bret at WrestleMania 10, I think. That was probably my favorite match, just watching those two go at it.
That was in the steel cage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Should have been the main event.
Yes, agreed.
All right, what you got, Brian?
Well, you know, I don't want to duplicate answers because obviously, you know, Bret and Bulldog was great, and then my man's went with Bret and Perfect, which is another one I would have chose, and then he went with Bret and Owen. And I don't want to choose Bret and Undertaker because I would be so biased. So I'm actually going to come more recent. And a match that I loved, and it was ruined at the very end. But if we just look at the exact match itself, is Daniel Bryan versus John Cena.
Yep.
An incredible match from start to finish. Triple H, being a mark for himself, had no business being a referee. If you remember, even the build-ups, when Daniel Bryan and John Cena would go at it and they would, you know, have their verbal words, Triple H would be sitting in the back, and I could just imagine him saying, "Hey, Steph, I got to get a piece of that," and running out there, getting involved. And then Randy Orton cashes in. It annoyed me, but if you take away those moments, that match was incredible. So that's one of my favorite SummerSlam matches of all time.
I gotta agree with you on that one. I remember that night watching that and being so annoyed that Orton had cashed in. I remember where I was in my living room.
So we was at Loafers back when you could go to Loafers and watch out in Catonsville, and it was a bunch of us out there and some, you know, some wrestlers, and you know, and I remember just being so upset. And my uncle and a few of my friends are sitting there with me, and they trying to explain it's okay, it made sense, I was like, I didn't want to hear it. It didn't make no sense at all to
me. Oh man! All right, Idols, what you got?
Okay, I'm going to disappoint you guys. I don't have a favorite SummerSlam match. I actually do not have a favorite SummerSlam match.
That's crazy. I don't believe you.
Why?
I don't. I wouldn't. When I saw the topic, and I was trying to think of like all the matches I really liked, I don't have a definitive favorite SummerSlam match.
Is it because you have multiple?
Top 3.
I couldn't I could get it to like a top 10, but I couldn't definitively number it and say I like this one more than all of them. Like, of course, I liked all the ones that you guys said, Bulldog and Bret. I liked Bret and Owen, Cena and Daniel Bryan, modern day choice. Punk and Lesnar from that same SummerSlam, really good. You can't go wrong with the first TLC. Triple H and Shawn, you can't beat that. Lesnar and Kurt Angle in 03. It's too many. I couldn't definitively say I like this one more than the others.
All right, what you got, Mrs. Idol?
I don't really have a favorite either.
One.
I gotta pick one.
One.
Ooh, that's
One
so
match.
hard. Like,
One that left an impression on you.
ooh, that's tough. Well, I don't know. Jesus, this is bad. I'm stumbling over my words.
It's okay. You're being put on the spot. No
I
pressure.
really am. Out of my
You
face.
are so supportive, Chris.
So
You're gonna make a great
I don't
husband.
really have a favorite either because there are so many. And then for me, also for the longest time, like SummerSlam was my least favorite pay-per-view. Yeah. So I never really had a favorite match. Now, if I had to limit it, probably would have to be Bulldog and Brett. Even though I hated the fact, like I was watching it yesterday, I hated that they kept panning to Diana and she would be doing all these weird facial expressions. Cause I'm like, y'all could at least get her looking decent. Like she looks so confused. Like, hi, they want me to be a part of this story, so I'm here, but I don't know what to do. And then other than that, I hated the build to it personally, but Finn versus Seth as well for the Universal Championship. But me personally, I hated the fact that they introduced the demon so early. But that's a whole different story for a different day. But that's my personal picks.
What you got, Q?
Simple. This is an easy answer. It goes down to 2 matches. We have Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar, 2016. Or my #1 favorite SummerSlam match, Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan, 2005, baby.
I knew he was going to say that.
Like, there are so many. Like, you can't pick just one.
Shawn Michaels was
Dude,
so
you should not
freaking
drink coffee. Stop drinking coffee.
God.
Remember, Hogan's the only person to beat everybody in the clip.
Someone get that boy a sedative. Jesus.
Dude, did you forget to take your Ritalin?
He might have. What is wrong with him?
He's standing on the chair. Anyway, I'm moving
Yes.
on. Jeremy, favorite SummerSlam match? You're on mute, Jeremy. Unmute yourself.
We can't hear you, Showtime. Speak up.
All right, my bad. I'm muting myself, okay? I couldn't deal with the brother, over there, so. Anyway. I've always been a huge Brock Lesnar fan. So 02 and 03, Lesnar versus The Rock, and then Kurt Angle and Lesnar never disappointed, no matter when they wrestled, whether it was a house show or main event in WrestleMania, whatever it was, always hit the mark for me. So.
All right, old man. Damien, what you got for me? Favorite SummerSlam match of all time?
Ooh.
You got something to rope with? You want to rope one of mine? Or you got something?
I don't know. Oh, God damn it.
Your hand's in the way, old man.
That's nice. I don't know. God, that is hard. I don't think I really have a favorite SummerSlam match. I'm not a big SummerSlam fan either, so.
At least I know I'm not alone. It is a hard answer.
One. Ooh. Yeah. I don't really think I have one that really hit me. So I got nothing. I really don't. Like all those matches that were like, you know, you had your guys pick. Yeah, they were like really good matches, but like none of them like, you know.
All right, fine. I'll give you one. Okay, I'll give you a match. AJ Styles versus John Cena because no one said it. There it is. There's your pick.
That's my pick. You just gonna pick for me? No. I wouldn't have picked that match though.
Or you could pick Shawn versus
any match
Razor
with
in the ladder match that no one talks about, but was probably better than WrestleMania 10.
You could have picked Test versus Shane McMahon.
That would have been better.
Or you could have picked Carmella versus Charlotte versus Becky. That was also good.
That was a good match.
Charlotte versus
but
Trish.
That was good
That was
too.
good too.
Yeah.
In Trish's hometown too.
And we could,
Like I said, though.
so pretty much we can name so many matches for SummerSlam that were probably the best match of all time.
Yeah,
So,
we
Yeah,
could've
they
gone
were
with
good.
Kane
Like I
versus
said, there was a lot of
RVD.
good matches. It's just none of them hit close to home.
right. Well, at least SummerSlam, we know SummerSlam does produce great matches. So, with that being said, Cliff, it is now your time. It is now time for the greatest segment in all of 3 Count Podcast. It is time for the Red Dogs Power Rankings. Danger Zone.
First off, before we get into these power rankings, we do have to put this out there. Anthony has some breaking news that he wants to report. So
this morning at 2:45 this morning, ESPN reported that Sonya Deville was a victim of an attempted kidnap. Some dude broke into her house. He's been doing this for like 8 months, stalking her, and it said something triggered her to call the cops, and this dude was like in her like bushes.
How did I miss this? Cliff, I talked to you. You didn't tell me this.
No, I read that too. Apparently he had like cut he cut a hole into like her patio.
Yeah.
And she saw him, so then she and I guess whoever was in the house with her left.
But the alarm that she had.
Yeah, and then the alarm went off too.
She got one of those alarms that immediately like triggers the police.
Yeah.
So they showed up and they found the guy, and then they checked his car, and he had zip ties and duct tape. He had mace.
A knife too. He had a knife.
Yeah,
too.
he confessed that he had been planning this for like Anthony said, 8 months.
Yeah.
He had been planning this.
How the hell I missed this?
I don't know, Chaz.
I just saw it while we were on the show.
yeah, I was like, he told me, he's like, I have breaking news, and then I was like, what's up? And then he told me, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, like that's heavy stuff.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
her and whoever was there with her wasn't hurt or anything, because that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, she'd have kicked his ass, but
Absolutely would have.
Yeah,
hands down. The
It
dude
would've been
doesn't.
like when,
Well, the dude was an ex-MMA fighter, so he might have gave her a fight.
Damn it, my plan went awry.
I hate you, David.
Somebody
I
beat
hate
me
you.
to it.
Go ahead,
No,
Cliff.
no,
Give me
I
your
was trying
power
to make
rankings.
sure she didn't make it to SummerSlam. That's all.
Give me
let's
your
get into these power rankings. So I do want to start this off with an honorable mention, which has never happened on this show. At least I don't think so. Maybe one other time. But our honorable mention is Dominic Mysterio, because let's be honest, the ass whooping he took with the kendo sticks,
Looking like a champ.
he did. And I was I felt very bad for him. So that's how I'm going to start off. Number 10.
Pay your dues, brother.
Yeah, congratulations, Dominic, on the ass whooping you received. But we are all, happy for you to sign with the WB. So number 10, we have, I cannot wait to see how pissed people get, the Young Bucks.
Oh, God.
There goes his camera.
Fuck you, Cliff. Fuck you, Cliff. Fuck you.
I gotta be honest, man. I couldn't decide. I had to keep those two matches together. All right,
Yeah.
number 9. Here we go with another bunch of people going to be upset, but one person will be excited about this one. Hangman and Omega, and Cameron Grimes. I can't lie.
Cameron Grimes deserves it.
He is in the number 9 spot. So number 8. Let's move from the big guys, and we're going to move into a show called Impact, and we're going to give it up to Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz.
I love her.
I was like,
Which one?
Both of them.
Then
So
make it that way.
number 7, we have us Bronson Reed. Of course, he's got a lot of momentum. I love watching him wrestle, so he gets to move up. Number 6.
Yeah, but he ain't no Cameron Grimes.
Australian style, strong style. That's all I know. That's all I see from that man right now. Number 6, give it up because, not only did she win on Monday Night Raw, but she also won the SmackDown Women's Battle Royal. So Asuka is next on our list. Number 5, we can't talk about this. I'm going to be honest. I do enjoy his matches although I don't enjoy the fact that he always gets pushed to the brink. But Cody is sitting at number 5
How is he not number 1?
because he's not number 1. So
He's a sack of potatoes.
number
Can we get rid
4.
of that ugly ass belt while we at it? Jesus Christ.
So number 4 that we're going to talk about, this came off the Deadly Draw. Ivelisse and Diamante. I love watching them work. They're amazing.
Yep.
Number 3 is Seth Rollins because, you know, it's Seth. He's always known how to put on a good match.
Rollins.
It's funny because I actually have Asuka twice on this list because she had a great great Royal, and then she also had a great match with Bayley. So I'm going to keep it that way. Asuka gets on the list twice. It's probably the last time it'll happen, just for any superstar. And
is that a part of the rules?
We never said what the rules were.
I want to see the rule book, Cliff.
This is bullshit.
Whatever.
How are you going to congratulate her for both of them earlier and then be like, oh, by the way, Asuka gets the second spot too?
Yeah, it's because I just noticed it. So
that's horseshit.
And last but not least, number 1, let's be real. He's been putting in great work the past few weeks. We talked about him having, whenever he gets a good storyline and he gets motivated, he'll put on a great show. And he did so against Kevin Owens. So Randy Orton definitely gets the number 1 spot.
Alrighty then. So, Cliff, I can't say I have a problem with your top 10 this week, but I do. But hey, anytime you put the Young Bucks in your top 10, I will always have a problem.
But at least they're not in the top 5.
But it wasn't the Asuka being there twice?
I like Asuka, so I can take Asuka being in twice as long as Riho is not on the list. I'm
Riho
perfectly
shouldn't even
fine.
be wrestling. That is someone's 12-year-old daughter, okay?
Exactly.
She's a nice lady.
She's a nice little girl.
So
that girl is 50 pounds. She got no business wrestling.
She is 98 pounds.
50
Thank you very much.
pounds, and these people would oversell for her. I don't get it. Go home, Riho.
Nyla Rose should still be champ. She should have been the first champ.
Like Nyla Rose should have
that's
been
what
champ.
thank you,
She
Brian. Thank
Yes,
you.
no,
I had
you're
a
right.
whole conniption when we about to have a whole rant, but no, we gotta keep things moving. So because Brian's about to have me start ranting on this Riho and Nyla Rose thing. Y'all know how I feel about it.
Riho definitely deserved to win that.
Oh, damn it. Here we go.
Anthony, you mean no. Everybody, wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. Because
No.
Anthony's new. So I have to. You mean to tell me, okay, that Riho, okay, the 98-pound schoolgirl, right, can beat the native beast.
Have you ever seen anime?
Let's not put out the fact that, you know, the size difference. Riho versus Nyla Rose. Riho, yeah, I'm not even getting. I know I'm not getting into it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it today.
Damn it.
Not today.
Not only can she, but she did beat Nyla.
Anyway, so it's now time for my favorite segment that we do right next to the Red Dogs Power Rankings, and that's the game called If I Had the Pencil. So,
if I had the pencil,
for those that don't know the
Riho
rules,
would win every match.
Good night again,
Okay,
Clippers.
Kenny Omega.
I'm taking control of my show now. I'm going to take control of my show now.
I'm trying so hard.
Don't do shit.
Nyla Rose. Every match.
So, if I had the pencil game. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know the rules, pretty much this is just our prediction game. So, we pretty much go, if I had the pencil. So, and at the end, we will see who wins the golden pencil trophy. Right now in first place is Jeremy, by the way. So, just want to put that out.
That's right.
Just
What
want to
were you
put that
saying
out.
earlier, JJ? JJ, what was that earlier, babe? You know, you was gonna win.
Well, first of all, you only have one prediction. I have accumulated over, many predictions. So of course yours will be a little more
your all in or all out predictions, right? Where you got like one right or two.
That was double or nothing.
No, double or nothing.
Because AEW doesn't know how to book stuff. It's always the VP.
Hey, you don't know how to pick right. So I mean, what are we talking?
I would just pick all the VPs to win, and that's how I would have got everything right then.
Should have picked Riho.
Right.
Riho wasn't even there.
All right.
Still
So
got more right.
We're doing the SummerSlam if I had the pencil. So we're going to go and get started. So, Matt Riddle versus King Corbin. If you had the pencil, Cliff, who do you have going over?
Bro.
All righty. Anthony, who you got?
Corbin, because fuck, bro.
Brian, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Corbin, and I usually don't, but I'm gonna go with him on this instance.
All right. Mrs. Idol?
I'm gonna say Corbin. I don't typically like Corbin, but I think he'll do something to get over. But it more than likely won't be clean.
Idol.
Bro.
You
Bro.
You disgust me.
Corbin doesn't win matches. Come on.
I mean, he right.
Only unless only unless it's Shorty G. Then apparently he's a winner.
You know what? I would be curious to know when's the last time Corbin won on pay-per-view.
Let's Google that.
All right, JJ, who you got?
All right, this is simple. Mr. Corbin is an enhancement talent. Do you read what I am saying? Can you listen clearly? Everyone knows Baron Corbin is enhancement talent.
I just couldn't.
Corbin never wins. End of discussion. Matt Riddle going over. He's going to hit the high road. Okay, let me stop.
This is horrible. 12 and 20.
All right, so JJ, you got bro going over. Jeremy, who you got?
Well, the real winner is anybody who doesn't watch the match, first off. Baron Corbin's going to win because he's going to have help. And he's bald and beautiful, so he's going to win.
All right, Damien, who you got?
I feel like in the order, I'm gonna go with Matt Riddle.
Bro.
Jeremy said
I'm going with
I'm
the
not
bro
saying
as well.
that.
I was gonna say Jeremy said that the real winner was anybody who doesn't watch the match. Like he's not watching the match because we're gonna talk about it in 2 weeks. So I guess you ain't win either.
It's an obligation at that point. I'm obligated to watch it so I can talk about it.
It's only required for work.
Exactly.
All righty. So, next match we got Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose in a hair versus hair match. Who we got?
Can I go first?
You want to go first? Go ahead. Go first.
I do. If Mandy don't whoop Sonya's ass, I'm going to be upset. Because that segment in SmackDown where she had cut out her extensions, as a person that wears them joints ain't cheap. Okay? They're not cheap to buy. They ain't cheap to put in. And they ain't cheap to take care of. And she cut them out.
I've seen how much them bundles cost.
Exactly. If she don't whoop her ass for the bundles alone, I'm going to be upset. So I'm going to say Mandy.
All right. So we got Jamilla's going with Mandy, hands down.
I had to get that out.
Cliff, who you got?
All right.
You know how much I cut during that segment.
Mandy just cut her hair. Sonya just survived a kidnapping attempt. I think Sonya goes all out and just shaves her head. So I'm going to go with Mandy.
All right. JJ, who you got?
Now, if I had the pencil, I would have Sonya Deville go over.
Okay.
And shave Mandy. However, knowing WWE and their infatuation with their blondes, Vince is not going to let his blondes go bald. Sonya will become bald.
All right. Anthony, who you got?
I don't know if I can masturbate to a hairless blonde.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm gonna go that Sonya's gonna be bald.
I did not expect you to go there with that.
Hold on. Are you saying that you can masturbate to a baldless brown-haired brunette?
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway,
Best answer I've ever heard.
Right.
Brian, who you got?
You made me follow that. Oh, I'm gonna go with Sonya. I think it's to draw more heat, and you'll see Otis try to, console Mandy.
He's gonna shave his
Damon?
head. He's gonna shave his head and give it to her.
Goodbye, Cliff. Goodbye. Daniel, who you got?
And just
I'm gonna go with Mandy because Sonya's gonna look better in the lesbian cut. Just saying.
oh my god.
All right, Jeremy.
Yes.
Friends with you guys.
Man, I had to follow all of that. I'm gonna go with Mandy. I'm not, nothing extra, just Mandy.
All right, Chris, who you got?
I'm going with Mandy. Yeah.
Bundles ain't cheap, y'all. Okay.
Bundles are not cheap.
Bundles ain't cheap. Remember that.
I gotta go with Mandy as well for the same reason that bundles are not cheap. I've seen it.
That's not your reason why. Come on now.
Anthony, hold on, dog. Hold on. Good quality hair. For you to get at least 3 of them, you're gonna have to drop at least between $450 to $500, and then you might have to drop another 2 to 3 to find someone to put it in and style it. Nah, bruh.
I'm not saying that's not.
Hey, Mandy got
expensive.
money
I'm
like
just saying
that.
that's not Chaz's reason at all. His reason is the same reason is mine.
So the next match on the card, we have the United States Championship match: Apollo Crews versus MVP. Brian, you'll start this one off. Who you got?
Man, I can't see Paulo losing this, but the Hurt Business got to get back on point. So I think it would make sense for MVP to win it, but I think on paper, put me down for Apollo Crews. It's just at the end of the day, MVP is there to get these young guys and really young black guys over. So this is what he's going to do.
All right, Anthony.
I'm with Brian. I think that MVP is there to help the young black guys. I really do. Plus, you're giving Apollo Crew has his real big first title run. You just can't take it from him this early.
Cliff?
So, like I said to my wife on our honeymoon, I'm coming! I'm going with MVP.
I'm so fucking done with you, Cliff.
Wow! Whoa!
Who let him on this show? Go to your room, Cliff. Yo, give me 5 minutes.
You're grounded, Cliff.
Go to your
Go
room,
to your
Cliff.
fucking room.
Wow.
Y'all act like I'm like, where the fuck am I? Like,
Go to
Get out of your room, Cliff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Doghouse. Go to the doghouse.
Anyway, all right. So I can't even. That was actually kind of funny.
That was really funny.
Who you got, Jamilla?
I'm gonna say Apollo.
Got Apollo. All right. JJ, who you got?
All right, so part of me, God, Cliff, what the heck? So part of me is like, the Hurt Business needs this. They need this W. You know, they really do need this, but at the same time, it's also like Apollo. You don't want to get rid of his title reign yet, but at the same time, you know that Vince has no faith in Apollo. I'm gonna go with Apollo.
What Apollo?
That's weird going for Apollo in a show.
All right.
Yeah.
Chris Idol, who you got?
I'm going to go with I'm gonna go with Apollo.
Jeremy?
So JJ went with Apollo, so he's obviously wrong. It's gonna be MVP. It's a shame Bobby Lashley still hasn't had a SummerSlam match. It should be him instead of MVP, but it'll be MVP to set up MVP getting beat up by Bobby Lashley later down the road, like I've said for the last couple months. Because if there's one thing that Vince believes in less than Apollo Crews, it's good factions. So the Hurt Business won't be around for long.
All right, Damien?
Well, let's see. I kind of don't want to see this match. If the fuck, Apollo, I guess, maybe possibility. Maybe the referee if he's white.
All right, so here's my take on this one, right? Anytime MVP's on pay-per-view, he somehow weasels his way out of it, right? Isn't that like kind of the trend now?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with Bobby Lashley. I'm just
now you see that,
just throw it out there. This is probably an L for me on this one, but I just got a feeling that it's gonna be Bobby Lashley. MVP.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So
now, would you be
Bobby,
right? Like if MVP just won, you'd still be right though, right?
Yeah. Chaz smells shenanigans.
I do smell shenanigans.
That is a good possibility.
So
Yeah.
I gotta go with Bob. I think Bobby's gonna come out and and technically take the match and wrestle for MVP, and Bobby's gonna end up winning. Is it a long shot? Is it a long shot? Yeah, but
it's definitely something they
worse?
do.
Have we seen worse?
We have.
All
yeah,
right.
AEW. Yeah, AEW. 2 hours worth every week.
Anyway, I'm gonna move on.
Liquid gold.
Sack of potatoes.
So we got the Raw Tag Team Championship match. We got the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. I got the Street Profits. I don't see Andrade and Angel Garza winning. The Street Profits are on a huge roll. I don't think that's ending anytime soon. Who you got, JJ?
This is tough because because Raw doesn't have a tag division really anyway. So why should I even care? But if I were to care, Street Profits.
Street Profits it is. Damien, who you got?
I feel like the Latinos are going to cheat and steal a victory because that's what they do.
Okay.
I have
we
to
also
watch
we
them
also
every time
lie.
they come into my job. Yeah, they do. So I have to make sure I watch them when they come into my job all the time. So I'm gonna go with Garza. So and Andrade. I forgot his name.
All right. Clip, who you got?
I just want to go out and put out that if anybody was watching Idol, he legitimately said that's racist. I'd act like I wasn't paying attention.
I am not racist, sir. I hate everybody equally.
Just Latinos
true.
A little bit more.
So I'm gonna go with Angel and Andrade, and I'm going to throw something else out there. Dawkins is turning on Fords.
What?
Yeah, I said it.
Ooh.
All right. So this is the show with all we got. Everybody got bold predictions. What?
Yeah,
I can see it happening.
So let's play it out.
How he's been acting.
Let's play it out. So what we have right now is that Ford was poisoned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had his red cup, right? And it's believed Bianca is believing that Zelina did it, while Zelina's going out of her way to say she isn't. Kind of like heel tactic things going on. But if you notice, Angela has been quiet like the whole time. Not really said anything.
He did it. Try to tell you can't trust niggas. This is why I want a white tag team partner.
Cliff's open.
I don't know anybody else on here who's tagged up with an interracial tag team. I don't know anybody. Not one person on this.
Wait, Jeremy
I might know somebody. I might know a guy or two.
I don't know. I don't know anybody. I don't know any tag team out here.
So, can I go, Jazz? Or you got?
Yeah, you can go. Yes, you're next anyway.
All right, so show me career suicide for $10,000 with Angelo Dawkins turning on his money ticket, but I'm buying it. So I'm gonna go with Angel Garza and Andrade because, damn Cliff, if you didn't fucking sell that to me.
Right? That was beautiful.
All right, Brian, who you got?
Wow, that as much as I would hate to see that happen, I mean, I have Andrade and Angel Garza winning, not holding on to the titles too long, but I just think that they've been going after these tag titles for a while, and I think since right after WrestleMania. So I think now is the time. I really don't want to see the Street Profits because all I see is crime time in the making, and we all saw what happened after that when they split. JTG went on to be forgot about while rest in peace Shad Gaspar would go to Hollywood. So Montez Ford is the star of that team, but Angelo has been showing that he can keep up and is not. So I would like to see them stick around, remain the tag team for the rest of the year at least.
All right. Anthony, who you got?
Well, no, thanks to Cliff and his selling abilities. Gotta go with the Latinos. Damn them Latinos.
Yeah.
All right, idols. Who you guys? Who y'all got?
Going with my favorites on Raw. That would be Andrade and Angel.
I'm gonna
Jamilla?
I'm gonna say Street Profits only because they've been planting the seeds that Angel and Andrade are gonna split up at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised if they lose at SummerSlam. That's kind of the tipping point.
How dare you?
I'm just being honest.
I'm just keeping it real.
Stop being honest.
All righty. So moving on down the card, I got this right here is probably the match that I'm actually excited for because I'm waiting for him to join him. But Seth Rollins versus Dominic Mysterio. We just found out not too long ago that this will be a street fight. So Seth Rollins, Dominic Mysterio. Who do we have going over? We'll start with you, Damien.
Okay, so I've been noticing how Murphy's kind of been very hesitant. I feel like that Dominic might win because of Murphy.
Okay.
If you notice, he's been very, very Seth Rollins has kind of lost his mind.
Right.
I think he's going to be Judas.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Dominic.
All right, that's not a bad choice. Jeremy.
I still can't get over that the whole damn eye for an eye match.
Yeah, I just try to forget about that.
It was eye popping.
Man, some things you just don't forget about, and that's one of them. I don't know. So I think they're still trying to hold on to this fact of having the Mysterios versus Buddy and Rollins. So I think Ray's going to come out and try to make the save. Obviously, Rollins is going to go over. I don't think you stop Rollins' run that he's had by have him lose to a debuting, I guess, fourth generation, fifth generation, however damn many Mysterios there are out there, whatever generation superstar that Dominic's going to be. So I'm going to go with Rollins.
All right, JJ.
First and foremost, if Dominic Mysterio wins this match, I'm going to have my pitchfork out, and I'm going to light my pitchfork and then proceed to burn myself.
What?
That's kind of racist.
Why would you light your pitchfork if you could just light yourself on fire? That seems kind of
Why are you so
That's a
troubled?
lot of extra steps. Right?
You need a hug.
You need to
Chaz,
seek
does he need a
counselor.
friend?
Were you not hugging up
I
as
have a
a
number.
child?
Wow. August
I
is
don't know
about to
what
be a
he
real
thinks,
rough
but
month.
Can we do a prayer for him?
If Seth
Right?
Rollins
We need to
doesn't
do
win,
something.
I'm burning myself.
so who
Human
are you
You gonna
combustion
burn it
style.
down?
Boom.
Are you going to use lighter fluid?
Yes.
All right, cool. I got your lighter fluid for you.
Thank you.
No
Seth
problem.
Are you
Rollins in it,
picking
but if he
Seth?
doesn't,
Are you picking Seth?
I'm picking. Oh my Seth!
All right, that's all I needed to hear. Chris Idol.
I'm going with Dominic.
All right, Jamilla, who you got?
I'm gonna keep the same energy I had with Mandy. If Dominic don't whoop Seth's pasty white Hispanic looking ass, we gonna have a problem.
Wow.
Oh, why is everybody so racist around here?
Whoa. What the hell?
Oh, he
Also
white and
aggressive
Hispanic
on
at the
this
same.
show.
Pasty Hispanic. What?
This episode going to have to go on the dark web.
Oh, Brian,
Right?
you have no
Hey.
idea.
Right, but now I'm gonna have to
Oh,
go with Dominic just cause like I like Seth, but I just think he just need his ass beat one good time because obviously ain't nobody done it yet. So
I mean,
Well,
Kevin Owens
say the
and
word, I
Drew
got you.
McIntyre both beat Seth.
okay, well obviously he needs someone that's in the same race as him to beat his ass one time for the one time. There we go.
Oh.
But Seth Rollins is white.
Brown on
Yeah,
brown
I
crime
see.
is not right.
That's true.
All
But
right,
then
so
gonna
Cliff.
need his ass beat.
Yo,
Cliff.
I got Eddie.
Cliff.
Son.
You're funny.
You guys already
You're
know
funny.
who he's picking.
Yeah, I said it. I'm picking Eddie Guerrero's son. That's who I got.
Oh.
Of course you are.
Oh.
That's too soon. Too soon, Cliff.
I'm
Wow.
going with Seth. Anthony, who you got?
Well, here's the thing. So AEW is offered Ray some money. So I think Ray probably will go to AEW. And I think Vince McMahon's going to lash out on Dominic and make him lose the rest of his career, and then he'll go over there to AEW. So I think I'm going to go with Seth on this one.
I'm going with Seth. All right.
Seth already lashed out at him. That's what Vince.
Right.
Vince told Seth, slash out him. Ray didn't re-sign with us. So,
all right, Brian, who you got?
Oh man, we said who's going over. I would say toilet because this is the bathroom break match. But you know, as with anything, Seth Rollins has been.
Concession stand,
Huh?
the merch table. What shirt you want?
Yeah, you know, this is right before when WWE flashes that sign: 50% off championship belts and 30% off accessories, and everybody goes right to the website.
Right.
That was awesome.
Yeah, but I got Dominic winning this. I think that Rey Mysterio does get involved and he helps him, and then you know he wins and so forth. And this will be the last we see of Rey Mysterio. I think he'll get somewhat of a happy ending. Maybe they'll be still trying to pitch to keep him there, but I do think Dominic wins this match. But I don't care. Dominic doesn't look like a wrestler. I'm sorry, he looks like a wrestler's kid. Look at Austin Gunn. Austin Gunn looks like a wrestler. Dominic looks like a David Flair.
You take that back right now.
Austin Gunn looking real good in that AEW crowd, though.
He was on Dark. He's on AEW Dark. The Guns got it
Yeah,
done.
Dominic won SummerSlam. Who winning?
Right?
That's a good point.
Ouch.
But he looks
The thing
better.
Yeah,
But
you're right. He
Dominic
does.
But Dominic wrestles better than David Flair, by far. Hell, my 7-year-old daughter wrestles better than David Flair.
That's true. That's true.
Tamina wrestles better than David Flair.
You know what? That's the only
You
time
know
I'll give
who else
Tamina a compliment.
wrestles better than David Flair? Do you know who else wrestles better than David Flair?
Matt
Do you know who,
Cardona.
Chaz?
Ariane Andrew.
No.
Jazz's kid.
It's definitely not
Listen,
Pat
my kid-
McAfee.
listen,
In my toilet bowl is a better wrestler than David Flair.
My kid is already taking bumps. All right, he's already selling the super kick cell. He's only a month old. He already does the little when you get kicked from a super kick, he goes. He does the head bob back. So he's already.
Chaz, we gonna talk after this. We gonna talk after this, bud.
You might have not wanted to admit that on here.
He's already doing the head.
TPS is gonna be calling you.
He has at your door already.
Right. The hell, man.
Oh man. So moving on, we got the SmackDown. Oh yeah, we got these little craps. So SmackDown Women's Championship, we got Bayley versus Asuka.
You might as well do them both at the same time, by the way.
Yeah, because I'm picking Asuka to lose both.
So yeah, I agree. We're gonna do both. So the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Raw Women's Championship. We got Sasha versus Asuka for the Raw title. Then we got Bayley versus Asuka for the SmackDown title. Alrighty, so we're gonna do both here because, yeah, Cliff, who you got? Because this is.
I'm so glad that Becky and Charlotte both left so that we could build the division around 3 women, just like we did last time. I'm gonna say Asuka wins the Raw title, but loses the SmackDown title.
Okay.
So we should go now.
Because I think here's my reason why. I think Bayley's match goes first. Sasha runs in and helps Bayley win, but during a Raw match, Bayley doesn't help Sasha.
That making sense. Sheesh.
Boom, and that's why WWE won't use it.
Anthony, who you got?
I'm going the opposite of Cliff. I'm going to go with Bayley helps Sasha, but Sasha ain't helping Bayley. Sasha's a selfish bitch. Sorry I said it,
you, man.
but she is.
And this is why I didn't want to come to your wedding next week.
You watch your
5 days. 5 days.
Wow.
Ryan. Ryan, who you got?
If Sasha Banks loses, I'm turning off SummerSlam because I've called out the WWE plenty of times about the way they treat black wrestlers, and particularly Sasha Banks has not held the title for more than 100 days. Well, maybe now she finally has, but this reign needs to be long. I don't need to see it as a transition or add to the story. So I'm actually going to go with the Golden Role Models both winning, holding on all to the goal, holding on all the gold as we get ready for Payback the following week.
Righty, I gotta agree with Brian on there. I don't think Asuka's taking any belts, so I'm going with Sasha to retain, and I'm going with Bayley to retain as well. Jamilla, who you got?
I'm gonna say Asuka wins. Hold on, I gotta make sure I get my thinking right. Okay, Asuka wins Raw, but loses SmackDown because Sasha's gonna turn on Bayley to set up for a match between the two of them on the main roster.
Alrighty. Q, who you got?
You know, this is the perfect time for them to finally break up Karen and Sasha.
Shaniqua.
Karen and Shaniqua. But knowing WWE, we're not going to get Shaniqua versus Karen until 2055. So somehow, some way, they're both going to retain. Sasha can't lose because, like Brian said, if we're looking at singles run, like her singles runs with titles, she's never held. She's always lost when she defended a singles title. And it's downright disrespectful to the greatest woman on the roster. So they need to retain. Or if not, okay, Karen loses, Sasha retains. There you go.
All right, Damien?
Well, considering how they were bickering like little girls, and I can see them wrestling one-on-one at Payback, I think it would be hilarious if they both lose.
Oh, so you're going Asuka double champion.
Yeah. I'm going to take that chance.
Oh, wow. Everyone's doing bold prediction. That's bold as hell. Jeremy, who you got, buddy?
All right, Chaz, I'm actually gonna have to give you my picks for the rest of the matches because I'm trying to go eat. I've been on here for 2 hours. I've given you my presents, my love, everything. And I'm on time, everything like that. So Sasha's gonna win because she's the best damn women's wrestler on the roster. Bailey's gonna lose. Set up the matchup. Bray's gonna beat Braun. AJ's gonna beat Jeff Hardy once they make it official after Friday night, whenever they wrestle. And Drew's gonna lose to Randy.
Alrighty then. I didn't write none of that down, but you'll tell me that.
Yeah, I'll message you it.
Alrighty then. Chris Idol, wherever he may be. Who you got?
It all. Everything. She's taking everything.
We can't see your face, honey.
You got Oscar.
Hear me. Everything.
I mean, Sasha's a great wrestler. Does she really need a title to prove her worth, to be honest with you?
That's true. I mean, given the way she reacted losing the title at WrestleMania, I don't think we want her to have another temper tantrum.
If y'all don't stop that bull crap, that was a false narrative.
That was a false
Stop
narrative.
it. Stop it. I'm so
Hot
serious.
garbage.
Whatever. Sasha admitted to it. She said it on Raw. She's like, "Did I cry? You damn right I did."
Not the same way people making it seem like it. Goodness.
I mean, like, at
Hot
the end of the day,
garbage.
why does everybody think that championships make the wrestler?
You said
The
it,
wrestler
Lakers?
makes the wrestler. The wrestler makes the champion.
Oh, goodness.
Like championship. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long your championship reign is. If you're a good wrestler, dude, you're a good fucking wrestler.
It's about being the best. The championship
wrong.
means you're the best. It's just like in sports. If you want to, you ain't gonna say that Tom Brady doesn't need the Super Bowls to be considered a great quarterback. He needs the Super Bowl.
I beg to differ.
The team.
I beg to differ. Undertaker's one of the greatest people, the greatest wrestlers around, and he has one of the least championships.
No, he's one of the greatest
in his
characters
career.
around. He's not a top 10 wrestler.
Same thing. All around.
But we can attest
He's in my
that.
top 10. He's
Hold
my
on.
top 10.
We want to talk about Tom Brady for a second. We want to test it, and I'm so glad Jeremy got out of here because he'd be all over Tom Brady's dick. We can attest to this. Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he never won a title.
All right, so then how about the Indiana Pacers, right? The Pacers from 98 to 2000. Nobody's talking about they're one of the greatest teams because they didn't win a championship. And that same principle should be applied to wrestling. The championship, what it's all about.
That's why AI will never get
100.
higher than the top than, number 5.
100. 100. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player. Sorry, JJ. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player because he's got 6 titles.
Well, I mean, Bill Russell has 16, but I guess we ain't talking
He has
about
11.
Nobody's saying Bubba Wallace is a great racer because I don't think he has any Daytona 500s. It's all about the championships.
I have to agree with Brian on that note. Yes, it is about the championships.
We just say that in
I
wrestling
disagree.
because we understand that it's a predetermined sport, that we feel that we look at work ethic. Nobody cares about work ethic. When you go on ESPN, when they put this stuff on ESPN, they look at championships. It's all about championships and wins. That's the reason why. My
I
bad.
agree.
That's my championship rant.
Nope. No. It's all for no.
Yeah.
No. I agree with that.
Roddy Piper won the heavyweight title, but he's not one of the greatest.
But he is. He's one of the There's so
Anyway.
many people that have never won the top title and still great wrestlers. Just saying.
Man, that's because we're all smart, and that's why. But we all know the ins and outs of the business. Goddamn, that's why we say that. Let's keep it $1.50. We say that because we all know the ins and outs, and we know it's like Brian said. We know it's predetermined. Yeah, the title doesn't make the man makes the title. That Triple H bullshit. Anyway,
Exactly. He was the one who wanted to hog the title when nobody cared that he was a champion.
Exactly. So, with that being said, I'm going to use this as a segue to move on. So, this hasn't been officially made a match yet, but like Jeremy said, they're going to make it official sooner or later. But Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles, I'm never going to bet against AJ Styles because, hey, he's the man that made me a wrestler. So, AJ Styles goes over for me. Cliff, who you got?
I got Styles.
Styles. Anthony, who you got?
If I had a pencil, I would do Jeff Hardy, but since I don't have the pencil, AJ Styles.
Brian, who you got?
AJ Styles.
I'm with it. The Idols, who you got?
I'm gonna say AJ.
Chris?
Jeff. Jeff already got
You picked Jeff. All right, Q, who you got?
AJ.
AJ Styles. Damian, who you got?
Isn't that match happening on SmackDown?
No.
Are you sure? I swear to
I'm
God,
not
after
sure
I
yet.
saw it
So
saying
they are having that match on SmackDown, but let's be honest, that's not going to be a match. Something will happen, and they'll be like, "We'll settle this at SummerSlam."
all right, then I'll go with AJ.
All righty. So we got the Universal Championship match next. So we got Braun Strowman versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt. I'm going with Braun, even though I can't stand Braun. But I'm going with Braun. Cliff, who you got?
The fuck? No, going with Bray. Because if your name's not Goldberg, you're not beating The Fiend. Although, I'm not going to lie, Braun does kind of look like Goldberg as like a taller, bigger version of him, but he's not beating The Fiend. And plus, this was the pay-per-view that The Fiend debuted on.
SummerSlam.
Chaz. You know he's going to win.
Ooh, aggressive.
Anthony, who you got?
I'm not picking a winner. I'm picking that this is gonna end up in one of those fucking god awful, who knows, like Braun falling in a fucking pond bullshit, because you're not gonna don't take the title off of Braun because the Fiend's not gonna be there every week, and you can't give the title to the Fiend because the Fiend's not gonna be there every week. Somehow the Fiend can't lose. So how's it gonna happen? I don't know, but there's not gonna be a winner.
All right, yeah, my man's saying no contest.
Didn't the Fiend just have a run with the Universal title?
He did.
Did they not give it to Bray and let Bray wear it every week?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just pointing out the
All right, Brian, who you got?
I'm going with The Fiend. For some reason, I got a feeling he's going to win this one.
All right, Idols.
The Fiend.
Otis.
Oh.
Yo.
Oh, you're being bold.
No.
I wouldn't hate it. I really would.
I love you.
No.
Uh-oh, you about to get JJ worked up again.
All right, JJ, it's on you.
No. Christopher Eugene Idol. No.
It's J. It's a J. Christopher J. Idol. Just saying.
I'm calling him Eugene.
Otis is gonna feud with Bray Wyatt.
Dear God, no. God, no. Okay.
I'm with it. Oh, I'm 100% with it.
Bro, imagine those Firefly Funhouse segments.
He gonna kidnap Mandy.
With Muscle Man Bray Wyatt and Otis.
Oh,
come on now.
Those would be.
Oh my God, I want it so much now. I need this match at Payback.
Can I change my answer?
Yo, Loki. No. I'm gonna say the Fiend wins, but Otis leaves with the title. God, I'm with it. Let's go. I want to see the Muscle Man versus Otis. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Do the Muscle Man dance.
Go there. I see it.
All right, JJ, who'd you pick?
Is he frozen?
I think we broke him.
Can I change my answer? I'm just gonna change my answer.
All right, we're gonna move on.
That boy about to have a.
Oh no, he blinked.
You didn't ask me who I picked.
Exactly. So until JJ gets his life together, Damien, who you got?
So I feel like Alexa's gonna be a deciding factor in this. So I'm gonna go with the Fiend.
All righty. Are you alive, Josh?
I just lost brain cells.
That's cool, but I need you to get the brain cells enough to pick between Braun and the Fiend.
Look, if the Fiend doesn't win, the Fiend is officially dead, even though he's already dead anyway.
Not deleted.
So, Bray. All right.
If Bray doesn't win, this is an absolute travesty. Braun Strowman is a terrible, awful champion. He's boring.
Right. So then our last match on the SummerSlam card, we got the WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and the Legend Killer, Randy Orton. So, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre. I got Drew taking this one with an Edge interference. Who you got, Cliff?
Yeah, I got Drew. I got Drew clean though.
You got Drew clean. Okay. Anthony, who you got?
That's toss up. I'm gonna go Drew. I want to say Edge is gonna come back and help Randy, but I'm gonna go Drew.
Brian, who you got?
I'm going with Drew. They're not. I don't think he loses the title just yet.
All right, JJ.
Tough. This is very, very tough. But part of me is like, yo, Randy's on a roll and he's a heel, but he's like been on a really, really good roll and he's been doing really, really good work. And part of me is like, you can't give it up. You can't give it up to Drew. I think this is probably the hardest prediction to pick out of any of them, but I'm going Drew. But I wouldn't be surprised if Randy wins.
All right, Damien, who you got?
Oh.
Go ahead and pick the sexy Scotsman.
I'm not sure if I want to be like, you know what? No, I'm about to go with Drew. I kind of feel like he's going to keep.
All right. Madam Idol?
I'm going to say Drew clean, but I wouldn't be surprised if Edge comes out after the match to try and get some kind of retribution on Randy. Kind of retribution.
Mr. Idol?
I'm going with Randy.
Of course
you are, you
right,
freaking
of course
fan.
Of course. I'll always pick someone that beat AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels. I'll always go with someone that does that.
Why does he always have to come for me? Like, why?
I mean, I was going to do that too, but I was going to be nice.
Anyway.
I'm stoned, so that's why.
Anyway, so, alrighty. So that is that's the end of the If I Had the Pencil. So to remind everyone who's listening of the score so far, in first place right now is Jeremy with 66% correct. Damien, you're at 50%. Tied for second though is Chris Idol and myself. And third place is JJ with 56. Cliff, you're in fourth with 52%. Damien, unfortunately, you're last with 50%, but hey, the year is still young. And Anthony, your first score will decide your vote. Well, not your vote, but your score so far in the Golden Pencil Award.
I'll be number one.
We'll see after next week. So, that's the end of the show. I want to say big shout out to Jamilla. Big shout out to Brian for being on the show. Thank you so much. Definitely is appreciative. We're glad that you are here on this shenanigans show called the 3-Count Podcast.
This show is a hot mess, okay? A hot mess, but I love it.
Oh yeah, that's how we get. Listen, that's how we got over being a hot mess.
Well, and if anybody don't like it, they can eat a dick.
And that's what Damien says every week.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
But
Thank you.
thank you so much for being on. So with that
now.
But before we end, Brian, let everyone know how they can follow you on all your social media platforms. Definitely tell them about the Wrestling Wrealm.
All right, so make sure you follow me at Brian H. Waters, Brian, water like you drink, add the S, and follow the Wrestling Realm. You can see right there. That's how you spell it if you're on YouTube or any video platform. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our latest shenanigans we did. If you've seen the DX promo where they had to have a special address, we redid it. A special address to wrestling fans on some things that just need to be set, as well as the NWO paid promotion spoof. But we also have an episode as Vince McMahon out of touch, and how about life after the WWE. And then you can also Break It Down with Brian H. each and every Thursday on YouTube and all social media platforms.
Awesome. And Jamilla, tell us how we can follow you and all of the Fight Club Pro Wrestling.
So follow me on Instagram, Milla_J with 2 Y's. That's Milla, Milla. And for Fight, you can find us on Facebook at Fight Club Pro Wrestling. Fight is spelled F1GHT. And I don't remember our Twitter offhand. Sorry, I was so unprepared.
PAWDC.
Thank you. Follow us on Twitter at PAWDC, and we're also on Instagram as PAWDC as well.
I'm a fan. Sorry.
Fucking Mark.
I know.
Listen, I will put it out there, and I'll let everyone know I am a fan of Fight Club Pro Wrestling. It's right here. It's local. It's black owned. They are, on the cusp of showcasing black wrestling talent. So I'm all for it. So yeah.
And we appreciate the support.
I enjoyed it.
I'm just trying to get on the show. I'm trying to get on the show. Listen, Jamilla, my sister, one of my longest friends I've had. I've been friends with you since middle school. Put me on that show. Tell them to put me. I'm willing to fight anybody to go toe to toe. Put me and my tag partner Prince Machiavelli on the show. This is my public address to everyone a part of Fight Club. Let Pure Ignorance get on that show. Let us blackify that show even more. But anyway, I will digress there. So let me sign off. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Don Chaz Evans, here with the Red Dog, Cliff Miller, here with Cliff Miller's best friend, Anthony, here with the Wrestling Realm's very own Brian H. Waters, the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Idol, his missus, Jamilla Scott, here with Q, my little brother, Damian Fatel, and the ghost of Jeremy Grimes. This is the 3 Count Podcast, SummerSlam Super Pod. We will be here in 2 weeks. We won't have a show next week because it's SummerSlam. We like to, leave it off and let everyone enjoy the show. So we won't have a show next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks for the SummerSlam Super Pod review show. So don't miss that one. Also, be on the lookout for all our now entering the ring interviews. So with that being said, be there for the next episode of the 3 Count Podcast, or, well, be somewhere else.
Hey, 3 Count Podcast listeners, it's your host, the icon Chaz Evans here. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. That's the Facebook, that's the Twitter, that's the Instagram, that's the Snapchat. Wait, we don't have Snapchat. The photo, but we don't have Photo Bucket. But make sure you follow us on all those things at 3 Count Podcast or at 3Count_pod. That's on the Twitter, by the way, 3Count_pod. But yeah, definitely also make sure you check out our YouTube channel and subscribe to our videos. And if you really like us a lot, definitely go find us on ProWrestlingTees.com/3CountPod and get yourself a 3 Count Podcast t-shirt. And make sure you continue listening to us.